let's take a look. Okay, so according to the previous lesson, previous lesson, we talked about the fifth category is the Sikkamana precepts. This is the rank above the Stramanarika and below the Bhikkhuni. Okay, this is the means Sikkamana is the woman studying the Dharma. Well, the reason for this additional was that there were some women who had been married before leaving home and were already pregnant. Then we talk about some person of an unstable temperament and give up easily. So before women were allowed to become Bhikkhuni, they had to pass this vigorous test. Okay, and then basically a woman are allowed for bhikkhuship only once only, compared with men. Men are allowed for 7 times for bhikkhuship. Then we talk about some school of thought, Sarastivardin and the Dhammagupta and Mahasamgika. Then, okay, class, if let's say, let's say after the class, after this way to Buddhahood, if you're all interested in the history of Buddhism, we can have a class regards this. By knowing the history of Buddhism, well, it might be helpful to build up the sense of to love your religions. Okay, the way I see in what happened in Hong Kong, basically majority of the Hong Kongers, right? Hong Kongers, they are not trust to Beijing. I mean majority. Once they're not trust to the Beijing, mean to say that you don't love your country. Once you don't love, you don't trust, whatever they propose, you will see it negatively because there's the bias there. So they already, the Beijing already have a look through the reason. They understand that the lack of patriotism. Same in Buddhism. I hope that all the Buddhists, you must have a sense to love the religions. What is the terminology? The sense to love the country is a patriotism, right? Then the sense to love the religions is what? Yes, Elena? No, okay, but you understand what I mean now? You have to be concerned over the religions. You have to always defend to it. So that is the sense. Okay, by studying history of Buddhism, especially understand how to say the bone and the loom of the religions, and also you understand how the hardship for the previous senior go through in order to let us learn the Dharma. Our sense of loving the religions will be built up. Okay, so that's the purpose to study the history of the religions. Okay, maybe I can do a little bit clarification in English. Oh yeah, I forgot. You have to learn a little bit Mandarin. Next time I have to show you a little bit. Yes, this is the sense to love the country.
爱国。
Not teaching lah. I want to look for the sense to love the religions. They don't have okay.
Embracing.
Embracing. Okay. No, Mr. Leong, what I means, okay, the patronism is the sense to love the country. Is there a good word like a patronism show the sense to love religions? You lost again. Okay, so we continue. Mr. Leong used to love himself. Yes, okay. Yes. Okay. Since you come back, can you answer? What is the words to express your love to the religions?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Okay. So this is the homework for Elena and Mr. Leong. So please come out the word for me. Or you don't have your lunch dinner. Okay. Okay.
Sally.
咩都有拉唔一落水。
Yeah, more like a luxury. Okay. So now we go to the verse number 81. Okay. Yes, please, Elena. Okay. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, Elena, please. Okay. 83. Yes. The verses 83, page 148.
Among these, the full precepts are the truly superior. Receive this solemnly, guard them carefully, and do not lose or spoil them. Among these 8 categories of precepts, those that are received by the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis are called full precepts. Full is the old translation. The new translation is near completion, which means close to nirvana. Receiving the bhikkhus and bhikkhusuni precepts brings one close to nirvana. If kept purely, every category of precept established by the Buddha can engender concentration and wisdom and liberate one from birth and death. In comparison to the other categories of precepts, the bhikkhus and bhikkhusuni precepts enable one to transcend the world, to live a life apart from desire. In a world full of materialistic ones, only the most rigorous and pure precepts have the ability to overcome desire. Such precepts are superior. After receiving the full precepts, these people become the Sangha treasure and the principal body of the Sangha and are able to receive offerings from people and divine beings. Receiving the full precepts is therefore difficult. With regard to age, one has to be at least 20. With regards to teachers transmitting the precepts, one has to have 3 preceptors, a master monk of Kamacharya and an instructor, Acharya. There must also be 7 monks as witness. In the outlying regions where Buddha Dhamma is not flourishing, at least 3 preceptors and 2 witnesses are required. Compared to the lay precepts received from 1 preceptor and the Samanara and Samanarika precepts received from 2 preceptors, these are obviously more difficult to receive. To receive the Bhikkhusuni precepts, people have to receive 2 years of the 6 precepts first, and then receive the precepts from the 2 sections. This is a solemn event in me.
Okay, thank you so much, Elena. We spell bhikkhuni lah. So the S we don't pronounce it bhikkhuni. Okay. Okay. So.
May underline.
Sally, looks better now. Okay. Mr. Leong, thumb up once you finish. Finish so soon. Okay, class, let's take a look. So now we go to the full precept for the bhikkhu and the bhikkhuni. So class, let's take a look. I think maybe for Sally and Elena, they will be more familiar to see this picture than Mr. Leong. Okay, so this is the ordinations and the bodhisattva. I mean, the full precept and the ordination precept ceremony in Taiwan or in Mahayanese temple, which it might be conducted in Hong Kong, Taiwan, mainland China, and Malaysia. Well, basically, let's take a look to the front. Okay, in the front, if you calculate, if you try to count, it might be 10 monks and 10 bhikkhunis, which in the red sage. Okay, what does it mean? Because in order for the ordination, there must be 3 preceptors and also 7 witnesses. So, in order to make the ordination of the bhikkhu complete, okay. In Taiwan and in mainland China, we define ourselves is the Buddha land. Okay, maybe we call it in Mandarin, we call it 中国, meaning to say that the Dharma is flourishing. Okay, if let's say the Dharma is flourishing we admit this is a Dharma flourishing area, you need at least 10 people in order to verify your eligibility for being a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni. But let's say for bhikkhuni, there is another, they have in another 10 bhikkhuni and 10 bhikkhu just to acknowledge your eligibility. You see that it is more difficult, right? Because 10, it will be 20. So it adds up, we see that, oh, how come the front rows, there will be 20 people, is for the bhikkhuni ordination. But if let's say, like the way I see Thailand and the Burmese, they claim themselves is the places where the Dharma is not flourishing. So, I mean, by appointing 3 of the preceptors is already enough to acknowledge a beginner become for the bhikkhu. See or not? Okay, if you got a chance, please go to visit the Theravada temple for the ordination ceremony. Okay, yeah, I think Mr. Leong have been, how to say, have been worship program. Yeah, Mr. Leong, during your worship program, how many preceptors to hold the ceremony? Can you remember, Mr. Leong? Let me on the mic for you, please. Yeah.
During our worship program, there's no preceptors, but all full-fledged monks.
How about Mrs. Leong? Same?
Same.
Same. Okay.
Same place, same time.
Okay, yeah, same place, same time. So good. How about, have you ever experienced the worship program, Sally and Elena? Never tried before. Never. Okay. If there's opportunity, maybe you can try. Okay. If let's say the program, you feel it is suitable to you. Well, ordination as a bhikkhuship, not just a bhikkhuship, and maybe just a Sramanera, it could be difficult for somebody. I remember there's one attendee in a Guan Yin organization. Well, the people used to call him something like that. Okay. Well, he tried at least 4 to 5 times just for ordination as Sramanera, but failed. And once you try to elaborate the reasons, you will believe that there will be some karma involved. I remember, especially for the first 3 times, everything has been prepared. Everything, I mean, all the stuff, all the necessary stuff is there. The preceptor is ready. Everything is there already, and he is ready. But just don't know why the night before the ordination, he was suddenly just blow up and become so emotional and just want to leave the place and threatening violence if you prohibit him. Don't know why, at least 3 times already. Oh, you will, I mean, from this case, you believe that certain people, they really don't have the faith for being a monk, a Sramanera. Even though maybe you feel nothing like Sramanera, Bhikkhu, it's not such a big thing. But for some people, even though they want, they also cannot. And also it happens also as the Sramaneri in Sandawana. They take around, I think about 3 to 5 times just to get the ordination done. You see or not? Not everybody is so smooth. For me, I'm quite smooth. I consider smooth. No much hindrances. But since the Sramaneri, they undergone a lot of difficulty and hardship, so they are quite appreciate what they have. Sometimes, so that's the problem. Okay, once after the ordinations, we are considered like confirmed staff of the company, so we are qualified to be offered. So that is the privilege. But anyway, we have to bear the responsibility. I think basically some perception among the laymen, they will think that, oh, for being a monk, how good and how great meritorious is it? Okay, but actually, the way I see, for being shaved head itself, the meritorious will accrue once the education take place. Meaning to say that you have to go through the Buddhist institution for study. You have to go to the meditation center to undergo the program, and you have to try to stay together with the Sangha community in order to learn how to deal with the people. I think because people usually maybe just think just shift the head, the merit is there, but actually more than that. You have to go through all the process so that you are meritorious and observe and deserve for being offered. Okay, class, you know what I mean? Okay, anyway, the way I see Sally and Elena, since your Dharma is getting deeper and deeper, is it possible? Just have a try. Nowadays, they won't shift your head because they know women is quite difficult for socializing without the hair after the program. So some they don't make it compulsory for shaving the head. Okay, so you can join the program for your own convenience and maybe and try to experience the life. Maybe you can have some enlightenment. Okay, for Sally and Elena. Okay, have you ever aimed for this, Sally, Elena? Temporary no worship program. Elena also? No? Yes? Oh, yeah, good. Just have a try. Okay, like Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, I think Mr. Leong know quite well the real situations for being monk. It might not be so perfect. Okay, but I think if you see things so clearly and you know the realistic so well, I don't think I myself will become a monk. Like Mr. Leong or Mrs. Leong, if you understand the ultimate sense of the marriage, I don't think you will involve in a marriage life. Am I right, Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong? Oh, they freeze again. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Sometimes we have to be a little bit blur in order to learn something. You cannot be. Yeah, the freeze already, Elena. No hope to wave to them. No hope to.
No, Sifu.
Yes.
Sifu. To take the Bodhisattva precepts.
Oh, good. Well,
That one, you don't need to shave your head, right?
Totally no, not necessary. Because there's a layman bodhisattva and also a monk bodhisattva. You take the version of the layman. The bodhisattva precept is more grand. You better finish the last chapter first. Yeah, because the commitment not for whole life only. It's not for the life. It's for many couples of the future life. So better understand first. Don't rush due to the merit. For Mahayana, we used to use merit to lure people to the ordination. It is not good. Better understanding first. Okay, Elena. But I think you can make it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, Elena is a career woman and determination. Okay, I think you can make it. Why so silly you make fun always, Elena? Okay. Okay, let's take a look. We call it as a near completion because it's close to Nibbana. Okay, and here you see, if kept purely every category of the precept, yes, basically in our Bhikkhu, we have about 5 categories. And for Bhikkhuni, I think also about 5 or 7 categories more than the Bhikkhu. Basically, the first and second category is the major offenses, and the rest are considered the minor offenses. Okay, for the Orthodox, for the traditional and Orthodox school, they will observe all. No matter they will observe all, including the major and minor. They will uphold and try to follow all the nitty-gritty. But for open mind, basically we will we will keep the first and the second category, okay, properly, and for the rest, we will depends on the situations to make the decision how to keep the precept with our reality worth. Okay, so that is the meaning. Okay, class, basically here there is a very good. What is the spiritual to keep the precept? Okay, we have to understand that basically our precept is established with the background of agricultural and 1,000 years ago. Okay, how to scrutiny that whether the precept, the validity of the precept is first by upholding the precept, it will enhance your samadhi. First one. Second, by keeping the precept, the people, the surrounding people, they will have a confidence, and they would lay a sarcastical remark on our behavior. So basically, there's a two protocol just to judge whether the precept is up to date or not. So that is the way we check. It's so easy. For example, people will ask, is the point can a monk and a lady stay inside one car or not? Of course, there's no car, 1,000 years ago. But if you go to think, okay, one man and also one lady in a car without third party, they will be a tendency to rise. To let the third party affair arises. So we know that this is illegal. Then we can scrutinize easily. But for example, let's say okay. For example, I want to do some exercise. I want to do jogging. Okay, of course, 1,000 years ago, there's no rule say that monk can jogging. They won't. So I have to think. Okay, when I do the jogging, what is the effect to the people surrounding me? How do they view me? And how urgent how urgent I have to do so. So basically, we will take consideration for all of this. Okay, you get what I mean? So I mean to say that this is how we judge we judge the practicality of a precept. Same. Okay, let's say Sally, you say, Master, we go to a cinema, have a movie. Okay, so I have to think, how will people see me? How will people see me? Especially after taking the photograph and also exposed to the Facebook, we know it will truly jeopardize the image of a triple gem. So I know or I shouldn't do that. But if let's say, okay, Elena, you suggest that, hey, Master, what do you think? We go to have a fine dine in a 5-star hotel. So okay, if let's say again I will judge. Okay, if you bring me, there's an offering. Once we go to the hotel, how the people surrounding to view us also. So basically we judge like this. There's quite a number of times we are being invited to the 5-star hotel for the offering. It's nothing because Elena, who is the boss of the Golden Horse Hotel? The boss, Lee Kim Yew, right?
Last time is leading. Now I think it's no longer.
Oh, the ownership had passed already.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, Lee Kim Yew have done this before. 6-star offering. Okay, 6-star offering. Yeah. Well, so we the people will understand that this is the offering by a wealth people. Okay. So this is how we go to judge whether the suitability to do some certain thing or not lah. Okay, but basically it is quite subjective. So the way I see Sally is quite safe. Sally basically don't judge anything. They say, oh, people privacy, oh, this is my privacy, oh, I don't know. Okay, so I don't judge. This is how the Sally style. I think it is quite safe for Sally lah. Basically, this is Sally's style. So many things he said, oh, no comment, I don't know, no comment, I don't know, sorry. So that is quite safe because sometimes quite hard to judge whether it's right or wrong. Because even all 3 months together, we will have a different subjectivity. It also depends. Like Elena, I think in your job also said, Mr. Leong also said, we can, as an outsider, quite hard for us to judge your job specification and description. Okay, let's take a look. Now it's about what in the world full of a materialistic, okay, the most rigorous and pure precept have the ability to overcome desire. Okay, that will be true lah. So the precept is the superior. Okay, we are able to, we are qualified, are able to receive offering from people and the divine being. Yes, basically, I think there will be an honor to receive the offering from the Deva, especially. But anyway, if let's say there will be some advantages to receive the offer from the Deva also. We try to have a guess. What is the disadvantage? Sally, can you try to answer? I think Sally is busy looking for the message, right? Oh, okay. So I on the mic for you. Yes, okay, Sally need times to think. Elena is quick mind. What is the disadvantage for receiving offering from the Deva?
Disadvantage in receiving offerings from the Deva.
Regularly, what is the disadvantage? What again?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Go ahead to guess. Yeah, Mr. Leong, yes. Let me on the mic for you. What's the disadvantage?
Advantage is we may have a tendency to over depend on the devas or blessings, and also we forget our value.
Okay. I think Mr. Leong answered. 80% correct already. This is true. Basically, if we over dependent on the offering of the Deva, and we will forget the human. Elena, we forget the human. You see, basically, accepting the offering is a very important and a crucial relationship between monk and the layman. You see, okay, once we have a Dharma class, then Sally will buy veggie to me, and the other people will offer me the money. You see, that is the relationship to both of us. You see, if let's say you just keeping offering receiving the offering from the Deva, you won't go out to expose to the human, and you won't have a Dharma talk, and you don't go to Bindabat. Then you don't serve the purpose to propagate the Dharma. That is the point. Well, it does happen in our history in our Chinese, in our Buddhism history, especially in China. Yes, it happens that they will come for offering, and the Khalid advised that please stop, accept the offering. After you go out to see the human, because the human is your target for Dharma propagations. Okay, you get it? Okay. But of course, it is quite difficult to get the offering from the Deva. I wish you try actually. Oh, well, according to the legendary, yeah, the offering of the Deva is, you just smell is enough really. No need to eat. No need to eat. According to my friend, one of my friend, he accepted the offering before. Well, there's a packet of the rice, which is covered by the leaf. The leaf will unfold by itself, And after this one smell only, the food can sustainable for at least 3 days. He said you no need to eat for 3 days. Just smell, that will be fine, good already. I hope it can happen also lah. I hope it can happen But if you don't have a good, if you don't have a good achievement in the tree study, you can hardly touch the deva to come to you. You can quite hardly to touch the deva. Okay. Well, I hope. There's, even though you are layman, but if you work hard for the dharma, I think they will come to you also lah. Okay. So Sally, please try to dream over it. Okay. Yes. Yes. Mr. Leong, anything?
Sifu, sometimes people can smell the fragrance of this Indian josti, and also sometimes they have the feeling that a different unknown form of person
Yeah, Mr. Leong, basically, the unknown fragrance is not offering, but it's due to their presence. Basically, if the Dharma protector and the Bodhisattva come, they will leave some fragrance. Okay, if let's say the fragrance is more on the jasmine, okay, that is a Dharma protector. If and sometimes the fragrance is the tan xiang, sandalwood smell, and some is an Indian sandalwood smell. If there's an Indian sandalwood smell, there's a possibility that the Ganesha present and some Indian god present. If just purely the sandalwood, possible maybe just the Mahayana Bodhisattva arrive. Okay, wow, the arrival is nothing new in earthy lah, especially Friday night. Sally, remember? And basically, once the arrival and the fragrance can enhance our meditation. Basically, yes. Sally, you try it before. Once you smell it, immediately your meditation state will be upgraded. Their blessing is wonderful. This is not, we don't consider it as offering, but we consider it as a blessing. The present itself will bring the smell together. Elena, I think you have smelled it before, right, Elena? Yes. What kind of smell? It's more frequent. You smell frequent. More frequent, you smell it. What kind of smell?
Last time is very foul smell but I remember at early for one time, Sifu, you were doing the graduation. You go doing the graduation.
Graduation ceremony.
I smell something very fragrant, very nice.
Oh, I see. Graduation ceremony lah. I see.
But when you fong sang you do that one the chanting that one the smell is not good
That one is not good. Not good.
No, not good. Got the different type of smell
Yeah. Meaning to say, during that ceremony for feeding hungry ghosts, we attract the being. So that's the best smell. But graduation ceremony, maybe the Bodhisattva come for blessing, so there will be a good smell. Okay, that's good. Okay, good question from Mr. Leong. Okay, so let's keep on. And then you see, okay, it is quite hard for the full precept, at least 20 years old. Then we need a three preceptor. Okay, we mentioned about that already. Now we come to the new sentence. Yes, Mr. Leong, those who want. Oh, okay, their line is quite bad.
Come back.
and approval.
Yeah, they freeze again.
Sally.
Yeah, okay, Sally. Okay, Sally, please break through. They realize that they are in the freezing position now. They know that well.
Those who want to receive the full process must obtain the three regulation garments, preceptors, and the approval of the Sangha. Then, with a solemn and sincere mind, and so many favorable factors, one can receive the full precepts. Since it's so difficult to receive them, one should treasure them and guard them carefully, the way one would have a life preserver when crossing the ocean, or the way people protect their eyes. Do not become careless and idle, or spoil such an invaluable treasure under the temptation of the environment or the impulse of afflictions. If one cannot follow this principle These superior precepts, in order to be born as a human or a divine being, or to be liberated from birth and death, but instead loses the human body while wearing the sakaya, the monk's robe.
Yeah.
This is a very sad thing.
Okay. So let's try to digest this paragraph.
Kasaya.
Okay, the whole paragraph is it regards paragraph regards the difficulty to get the ordination, so we have to uphold it and treasure it. Okay. Well, during the full ordination, we will obtain 3 regular garments. Basically, in our ancient time, in our original Vinaya, we are only 3 garment is only allowable only. Why 3 but not 4 and 5? Basically, Shakyamuni, he tried by himself. Let's take a look. This is the 3 garment we mentioned in a bhikkhuship lah. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look. This is the 3 garment. Okay. So this is the 3 garment is in the Theravadin style. This style is the most original and the most orthodox style. Okay. Basically, the garment itself is the uniform to signify the identity as a monk, but at the same time, it is they use it to cover up the body also. If let's say without the garment, meaning to say the body is fully exposed and naked already. Okay, so this is the most original and the orthodox of the 3 garment. Shakyamuni tried before. He noticed that 3 pieces of the garment is already is protective and enough to how to say to endure the cold, especially the cold season in Indian. Okay, remember in Indian, there is only 3 seasons. One is the dry season, one is the raining season, one is the cold season. So Shakyamuni found that 3 pieces of garment is already enough to endure. Okay, but once the monk from India, they travel to the China. Okay, they try to introduce also 3 garment, but they find it difficult to observe. The reason is in China, especially in the northern part, they are very cold. Okay, just 3 pieces of garment is not enough for protective. Okay, so it happens that you see, now what I wear today, this is actually is not the 3 pieces of the garment, you see, but this is the Chinese, I think maybe Tang Dynasty of the how to say, the fashion, I think this is the fashion during the Tang Dynasty. Am I right? Something like that, during the Tang Dynasty, but it's an ancient Chinese cloth. Okay, once the Buddhism come to the China, okay, they notice that 3 pieces of cloth is not enough, so they just wear, this cloth, okay, as original, but they add the other 3 pieces of cloth, the 3 pieces of garment as a how to say, as an identity or as a symbolic during once they perform the rituals. So it happens to us. So once in Malaysia, the thing happens that once by wearing this and by another sachets, we are getting more hot. It's too much already for us. So since this piece of the cloth, even though this is a Chinese ancient fashion, but it shows the identity as a monk is already enough. Because by wearing this and with the botak, you are not daring to go into the cinema. I can tell you frankly. You are not daring, because this is the monk identity. But basically, if you know fashion, this is the Chinese ancient fashion. It's not monk actually, it's a Chinese ancient. But no more people wear only. People only wear this once they have a play in the cinema only. When they act in some scenario only. You see or not? So that is the changing now. Okay, well, if let's say we have to wear any addition of the clothes, okay, we will undergo a system. We call it as we will undergo a procedure to make the unallowable thing become allowable. In the simple way that we will try to pass the ownership of the clothes to somebody, but we maintain the usage of that piece of cloth. So that is the procedure we do. Same we do to the money. If let's say I get some money, basically we will undergo a procedure that the money ownership belongs to somebody, but I have the right to use it in order just to reduce the attachment to the belongings. Okay, but anyway, even though you are not the monks, you also can perform the rituals. I think view is the best ritual. As long as you have a view, in your perception, you know that the things is just for temporary. It's temporary. It belongs to you temporarily only. Once you die, the thing have to go. The ownership have to be passed to somebody already. So just make sure you do it because not worth. Once we die, we are still longing over our belongings. Elena, have you done your view already? I should try to do. Sally, have you done your view? Yeah, good. I have done my view. Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, have you done your view? You should try to do. It's very cheap only. It's nothing about. No. A little bit on the mic for you. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
No, I said I can do it for you if you want. No need to pay.
He knows this very well. Sally, basically, is there any? Do you need any authorization like my lawyer do for me? Okay. No need.
No need.
How to prove the authenticity and the validity of the view?
There's two witnesses.
That will be enough already. Yes. Okay, and there must be one executor, right?
Yeah, the beneficiary can be an executor.
Okay, so Sally, am I right that doing the will it has nothing to do with how much asset you have, but just to make things clear and avoid the confusion for the
right.
people, right? That is the point. Okay. And also since the ownership of the asset have passed to somebody, and once you die, you will be peacefully we can say so you will rest in peace because the ownership you won't create any conflict upon the ownership of your entity something like that right? Elena, okay, Sally. Yes.
Oh, after you die already, you lying there inside your coffin, then you hear all of them fighting. Wow, after you wake up.
Okay. If I wake up, okay, Elena, I think I will be born as a hungry ghost lady. Okay. Well, please make sure you do it because Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong is quite old age already. And Elena also not young. Better do it now. So after MCO you can request from Sally Sally, am I eligible for being witness or executor for them?
Sorry?
Am I eligible for being executor or the witness for them as a monk? According to the eye of the law, can also.
Yes.
Okay,
Anybody.
I don't mind to just sign for you. I don't mind.
No, as long as you are not the beneficiary, no problem.
Okay, so I don't mind to sign just like a movie star. First sign here and sign there. Okay. So let's
But you
continue.
must remember to go to court, you know.
Oh, no, I don't know already. Oh,
You want to sign, you must go to court, you know.
no. No, it look ugly. The monk picture appears in the court. People take picture.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You just have to sign the document as witness that you witnessed that bill only as well.
No, basically, if possible, we avoid the court.
You don't have to go. I'm just joking only. You just have to sign one document.
Come. Like a movie. Sign here, sign there. Okay. So this is about the garment. How you need to understand the garment. Okay. And then and we said this is quite difficult. The reason is because we need a preceptor, we need the approval of the sangha also. So it is not easy for being a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni lah. So class, anyway, I think maybe you have opportunity to make friends with some maybe nuns or like Sally or Elena. If let's say they encounter some hardship, try your best to help them. Especially they are educated and they have a right intention for being a bhikkhuni. But some of them might encounter some hardship and they want to destroy. So try to help them because it is very precious and difficult for an ordination. It's not that easy. So you all try to help. Okay, so next, let's take a look. Okay, number 84. Maybe Sally, you read again. Sally, you haven't off your mic yet, Sally. On your mic, please.
Violation of the four most serious precepts: killing people, taking what is not given, having sex, and telling serious lies will destroy the nature of the Saramana. Of the 250 bhikkhus precepts, 8 of the Bhikshuni precepts are the most serious. If they are violated, it's like a tree being uprooted, or a person being beheaded or defeated in a battle in which the other side triumphs completely. If one violates the most serious precepts, one can be described as being dead to the Sangha. The first of the four is the precept not to kill. If one of the most serious precepts, this means not killing people, whether one does it for oneself or sends others to do the work. It also includes abortion and similar acts. Killing is also prohibited under the 5 precepts and the 10 precepts. The second precept is not to take what is not given, which is stealing. This is primarily the stealing of money, but includes taking anything without consent and with the intention to steal, regardless of the methods utilized. The Buddha established that only a theft of more than 5 coins constitute a violation. However, what does 5 coins mean? Since currency systems are vary, why did Buddha set up such a criterion? He did so because, according to the cellular law of Magadha at that time, anyone who stole more than 5 coins would be sentenced to death. If taking what is not given subjects one to death penalty according to the law of a particular time and place, then this constitutes the violation of one of the most serious precepts. This is probably the Buddha's original meaning.
Okay, Sally, thank you. Okay, class, let's take a look. This is the four most serious precept. I think it is similar for the bhikkhu and also the layman. We always similar only, but just sexual misconduct change to the having sex. Okay, if let's say a household, okay, once they ordained as a monk, if let's say they go back to if they met their ex-husband or ex-wife again and having the sexual relationship, it is considered committed the first crime already, even though they are your ex-husband or wife. But once you ordain, you cannot to do it again. Okay, that is the reason why Buddha mentioned this precept in the first place, because it does happen in the Sangha community. Okay. I mean about this five precept, this four precept is quite common. So I will just go to discuss the very special facts only. Okay, let's take a look. Number first one is regards to no killing. Okay, so all know quite well. No. The first is the no sexual intercourse. Let me take a look. Okay, let's go back to the definitions. Once we infringe the first category of the offenses, we are considered being beheaded. Okay, person being beheaded. This is the common analogy used to describe for those who commit this fault precept. Okay, but for laymen, basically we don't use a person beheaded. Okay, we will say that this is unrepentable. First class is the offense is so serious, which is unrepentable. Especially because of four major offenses, they are so strong, and the karma effect will be deeply eroded in your heart, and they will create a disturbance for you for meditation. So this is the reason why we call it unrepentable. And even though you try to repent, you can very hard to remove the stains of the karmic forces. But anyway, unrepentable is under the definition of the Theravadin. But in Mahayana, we still have method for those who infringe and make how to say and still repentable under the eye of the Mahayana. So basically, I think if the people, especially they infringe the four major precepts due to ignorance, maybe during the childhood time, or maybe during the teenagers, or maybe some they do the abortion out of economical problem. If that the case happen, we should use Mahayana to provide hopes to the people, to give the hopes to the people. Okay, don't always use the Theravadin and shut the door. Then they will find that Buddhism is so cruel, and they might shift to other religion. Okay, so just bear in mind. The way I know is a Theravadin, basically they say, oh, there's no way already. But Mahayana still provides some resort and an avenue for them to get rid of all the guilty. Okay, so first is the no killing. So second is the no stealing. All right, let's take a look. The point is about the 5 coins in Magadha. Okay, well, basically, if you still recall, in order to commit a crime and consider the category of the crime, the karma effect, we will consider a few factors. Remember, first the intention. Okay, you must have a rightful intention. Rightful intention. Second, your mental state is good, meaning to say that you are not intoxicated, you are not drug addicted. Okay, and the third, you use some method. Maybe you use the knife to kill people. Maybe you just lay down some remarks to curse people. That is the method. Then number 4 is the consequences. He died already. Okay, and the 5th is the target. Whether it's a human or it's an animal, well, different grade of the entity will incur different grades of the karmic effect. Okay, it depends on if let's say you are the human, you have an intention and you are not intoxicated, and you really kill the people and the people die, so that will be considered the first class of offenses, which is unrepentable. Okay, once we talk about the stealing, have I ever mentioned before, in ancient Indian secular law, stealing more than 5 coins in Indian, they will be sentenced for capital punishment. Have I ever mentioned it before? Yes. Okay. But anyway, nowadays 5 coins is difficult for us to convert 5 coins to nowadays. How much is it today? And basically nowadays, I think you can hardly to find a country we impose the capital punishment due to the stealing or corruption. Maybe $1 billion you have corrupt, or misappropriation, but you wouldn't be convicted. I mean, you wouldn't be convicted to capital punishment. I don't think so. I think, but the exception is the Chinese only, right? China only, right?
China only.
Only one country only. Capital punishment for the bribery or stealing. So meaning to say that nowadays, if you don't know how to, since there is no obvious guideline to observe the precept, if you go to the temple, you ask them how do you observe the stealing precept? How do you define the 5 coin, the value? Okay, so you get the definition. Because I worry, if you go to the Theravada, especially the Orthodox one, they may define that 5 coins is about $200 only. And then illegal downloading of one software is already more than $200. It's very easy to commit the unrepentable in stealing. So you have to ask properly if you stay in the temple. So that is the meaning for the stealing. Okay, nowadays the stealing is more on the love scam and also on Macau scam. Well, basically one of your colleague, the 7th intake of the meditation student, his name is using the administrative clerk involved in the love scam, and the girl just can't believe that once everybody in the office mentioned that there is a love scam, she can't believe. So she just totally believe to the con man, and basically I think almost all assets have been swindled already. What a pitiful fate. Okay, so nowadays the people they are so expertise in all this type of scam. So be careful. And then this is the love scam. Basically, love scam, the target for the woman, especially the woman, even though there's a career woman with a strong determination and ambitions, very smart, but they still could be targeted because the scammer is so smart and clever, and they can find out the weak point for that particular lady. Okay, I think you have to admit, basically it's the woman more involved in the love scam, but men is more involved in what we call a nudity conversation. They strip themselves and they have been recorded. Basically, men they are the main victims because men prefer see things. It's due to the brain structure. They prefer see things. Women prefer listen. Okay, listen to all the sweet talk. It's also due to the brain structure. So that's the reason they all will be got caught. This is their weakness. So be careful. Because now the scammer, I think they learn a little bit regards the psychology. They won't target men for the love scam because whatever sweet talk, it is not. You can't lure a man by just a sweet talk only. You can't. And if you want to expose the body to a woman, see the woman is not interested in it. So that is the different character. Am I right? So that's the scam. So just be careful. Just be careful. And nowadays, if let's say the hacker managed to hack in your computer, they are able to control your camera. So nowadays, the newly crime is, if let's say they hack your camera, and at the same time, maybe you are purposely or unintentional, you go to browse the porn web, so they will record everything. Then they will blackmail you. You have to give me how much money, or I will just expose, I will upload the whole video clip to your Facebook and embarrass you. But basically, if let's say we are under the if we are under the intimidation, please don't succumb, because if you give them the money, they might not cancel the whole thing. They might not delay. They will keep on just threaten you and keep on intimidate you. Okay, so just bear in mind. So that is a few new things regards to stealing. And for a monastery like a monk, they will come because our witness is the compassionate. So they will use our compassionate as the key point, just to make us succumb to the threatening. Okay, and for old people, maybe like Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, okay, they will threaten you that okay. Sally, Elena, you think what is the weak point for Mr. Leong or Mrs. Leong to make them scared and threaten them by the scammer?
I don't know. I don't scam people.
No. This is about the knowledge. Hey. I mean, if you read through the newspaper, basically you will know. Everybody have the weak point. We have to let you know. You know or not? What pity I feel, every time, every day, there must be the case for being conned. But basically, the whole retirement fund be conned, you know. Oh, I feel so pitiful, you know. I think they will be undergo the depression after all the money gone already. So we have to really, the more you understand the tactic, the less opportunity they get, you know. Elena, if we want to con Mr. and Mrs. Leong, what is the point?
Mr. Leong, I have the miracle cure. It will be 100% well. Just buy this from me.
Not convincing, Elena. Not convincing, It is not threatening. You have to frighten them. It's not. How to say? It's not frightening. It's not scary.
No. What I mean is, any product help anything. I think at this age, Mr. Leong, somebody comes to approach you guys and says that, you know, they got the miracle cure, you know, that can make you, you don't have the body ache lah, you can walk back like a young man lah. I'm sure you will be interested, right? Yeah, Sifu, you see, but no, they agree already.
Wait, Mr. Leong, I on the mic first. Okay, yeah, you can speak now. Yeah.
Also recommend the product to Elena.
Okay. This is quite a counter swing. How to say?
Attack.
No, okay. Okay. Well, the fact basically is maybe somebody will call Mr. Leong. First of all, they claim the calling from Bank Negara, from the judge, from the Bukit Aman, and your account has been misappropriated for money laundering.
That one he's not scared. Mr. Leong, that one I think you are not scared.
No, basically I said people get conned. I mean, this is the one so common to make people scared. I mean, unless you know it. If you don't know it, people usually get scared. Basically, I mean, in Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong age, if they got some grandchildren, they will use the tactic regards the kidnapping of the grandchildren. But they really do something. The plot is so good, you know, because they can release the voice of the grandchildren. Okay. They can just spell the name properly. Maybe the IC number, they also can tell them the grandchildren, all this type of thing. So I don't know how much work they've done for the scam, but basically they can tell you all the things. That's the reason why no matter how smart you are, you will be trapped. Okay, so maybe basically they still use this to make you scared. Is your account for maybe it's misappropriation for money laundering, or maybe involves some data trafficking, all these things. So people usually get scared, or maybe income tax, something to do with all this the government sector. But I believe maybe sometimes people they have some infringement of law possible also. Maybe you just do a very small scale only, not a very serious, but for you, because some then you will be easy fall into the trap at the same time. So I think maybe first of all, we have to make sure that we are free from anything first, everything we are free from it. Then secondly is just once we get the knowledge, then we won't be trapped once we get the knowledge. Okay, so Mr. Leong, remember, now all the cheating of the retirement fund is the same skill only, including some some specialists because they don't read the news. You see, as long as they don't read the news, and a bank officer call you, and then the bank negara call you, and then the Bukit Aman call you, and then the judge call you, and with a good accent of the English, then you can you will fall trap already. Okay, so that is the thing. Well,
I did receive some phone calls that I've what you call go against some law and things like that, and asking me to call back. That I actually did it.
oh yes, yeah, that's good. Okay. Well, okay. But I have a strategic just to playful over them. If let's say Mr. Leong, you are too free and nothing to do, so you just play with them. So let them form a bunch of telephone bill just to play them back. So basically, I heard that basically the retiring people they will just keep on talking with all the con men just to kill the time and pass the time and let them pay more. Yeah, it does happen, you know. Since you're too free, nothing to do
Because if you click onto the link, then all your data, everything, they will actually capture it. If you were to, for example, call them back, then they will hack your line.
No. What I mean is they just call you, you know they are the scammer, you just talk only just pretending, kill their time, something like that That is one of the leisure to part as a pastime activity Yes.
No, actually, if they call you, never use back your handphone to call them. Always use another landline. When you use a landline, they cannot detect you. I have played with a few of them already.
Okay, but anyway, okay. Besides, we just play with them. Keep on talking nonsense to let them pay more telephone bill. What else? The best strategy to counter attack them? Elena, anybody know how to counter?
I talked to them. They keep talking to me. Then I told them, okay, give me your contact number. Give me your name, your IC number. I will call whatever bank or whatever agency they have. And then they tell me, no, we cannot give you our IC number. Okay, you don't give me IC, at least you must give me your name. You cannot be telling me you don't have a name, right? Then they give me a name. I think the name also not a genuine one. It's not a genuine one. Then after that, they say they are from, because before that they said they are from which bank. So I said, okay, you are from ABC Bank. Which branch are you from? Oh, that one we are not able to disclose. I said, what do you mean not able to disclose? Either you are from the central units or you are from one of the bank's customer service. It cannot be disclosed. Then why are you calling me when you cannot disclose? I said, you are telling me something so urgent. Then they keep talking to him. In the end, I got his name, I got his IC number, I got his telephone number, but I know they are all the phone number. The phone number they uses back, that case was a bank. It is actually the correct bank number. But if you use your mobile phone to call back that number, you will go back to him. So never use back your mobile phone to call them. Use a landline. Landline is very safe. Even you use somebody else's handphone is also not safe. Just a landline, it won't connect over one.
But I think they provide you the identity, the information is not the rightful one, right? Because it's
not the right one, not the right.
Correct. Well, maybe. Yeah, you ask your IT guy, see whether possible. We just connect the line to MCMC and let the MCMC to trace the locality. I think that's the best way, just to catch the whole bunch to the prison. But I don't know whether how far the technology can do Elena, you talk to IT guy, see possible or not.
I actually call back the bank because I have a friend there under the investigation unit. I gave them the phone number. Once I saw the phone number, the things that I spoke to my friend said, this one is a scam. I said, definitely it's a scammer, but you guys cannot be allowing the scammer to do all these kind of things. So they said, basically, they can't do much.
We don't have the technology to trace them back from the phone call. Okay. So anyway, just maybe we can add one more sentence. Just ask them, does your mother know that you are conning people? Hope to use the mother as as the clues to make them regret. Oh, sorry, my mother will feel sorry. They know I conned people. Basically, every time I saw old man for being conned, the whole retirement fund, I feel so sad. Very, very pitiful every time I see. But just keep on happening. No matter how much time, how many times the news disclosure, but just keep on people get trapped. Okay, let me try to finish because we are about for transferring the merit. Okay, so yes, we finished already. So we transfer the merit. Okay, anyway.